Hey guys, it's Eagle, and welcome back to another episode inside of Technological Journey. In the last episode, we started our first processing chain, the gold chain, the gold line. So we've got some machines built up for that, and we should be ready to go to get that hopefully completed today. I'm not sure how difficult it's going to be, but I've got some things prepared, and hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier for us to complete. I've made a little diagram that I'm going to take you guys through here in a second. Before we go with any of that, if you guys are liking the series, please go ahead and hit the like button. It really helps me out, and it motivates me to keep going. If this is your first time seeing a video of mine, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, because that also helps me out, and just more people to watch Gregtech, baby. More people to watch Gregtech. But alrighty, I guess to get started here, I'm going to take a second, hop over onto the desktop, and kind of show you a little diagram that I made for this gold chain. Okay, and here we are onto the desktop, and please excuse my art abilities. This was made very, very late last night. I just kind of wanted to get my thoughts on a paper and kind of get this going so I knew the direction I wanted to go today. So as you can see, I've got some boxes here. These represent the machines, and the outputs are the arrows, and the inputs are inside the box. So AS stands for alloy smelter, and CR is chemical reactor, electrolyzer is obviously electrolyzer, mixer, and so on, so on. So what we built last episode was this nitric acid chain. I didn't want to build it out like I did these other ones because we already have it built, so I'm not too worried about that. I also have this alloy smelter up here with the copper and precious metal. That is what I did that in between episodes, so I've got, 10, 12 stacks of that gold alloy. And along with that nitric acid and that gold alloy, that will go into this chemical reactor, okay? The gold alloy ingot and the nitric acid will create this gold leach, which will go into this chemical reactor. In this chemical reactor, we need gold leach and hydrochloric acid. And the hydrochloric acid we are going to be creating from a little bit of chlorine that we got from electrolyzing, I guess we got sodium and I can't remember. I think we did salt. And that gave you chlorine and sodium from that. So we've got a little bit of chlorine built up, and that does loop in the setup. I didn't have that built in. I think it will go all the way around here. But anyway, we do need some more oxygen. That seems to be the thing that's going to be taking the most amount of resources from us. It's the thing we have the least of, and it's generally just a little bit hard to create here in the early game. So my plan for that is to use the oxygen from the air filter that we're getting to go into the various different places. I'm also going to set up an electrolyzer with water just so we can get a little bit more of that hydrogen to go in to make the hydrochloric acid, and we can just feed more oxygen into the loop, hopefully keeping it up and running more often. Now, this oxygen that we're getting from both the electrolyzer and the nitric acid chain are going to go into a mixer with oxygen, potassium, and sulfur, and that's going to create us our potassium metabisulfate. But that's going to be one of the ingredients we're going to need for the potassium, or for the actual creation of the gold dust. So these are going to be the final inputs here on this bottom right-hand corner here. So this chemical reactor is getting the hydrochloric acid and the gold leach. That will create ourselves the chloroauric acid. So the chloroauric acid plus the potassium metabisulfate, when combined in the chemical reactor, will get ourselves the gold dust. And I believe that also loops the hydrochloric acid or the chlorine, or I can't remember exactly what the output or the byproduct is from that recipe, but either way, we'll attempt to try to loop that over. So not a super hard setup. I did the math over here. We just need 4 more chemical reactors in addition to what we already have, a mixer and electrolyzer. I didn't look at what else we were going to need. I kind of just bit that there, but the big thing I know we are going to need a lot of is going to be fluid filters for the Ender IO fluid conduits. So that's going to be something that we're going to need a lot of. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work, and this is all new to me, so we're going to figure it out together, but let's hop back into it. And here we are back, and I want to just take another second to say I understand how, I guess, useless this is right now, and how over the top it is to do in LV. A lot of that stuff will be a lot easier in MV, but I just wanted to dip my toes in to these processing chains, because this is going to be a big part of this pack. So in this chest over here to our left, we have all of the machines that I talked about needing today. So we have our chemical reactors, our mixer, and our electrolyzer. We also have our fluid conduits, and I've made a couple basic fluid filters. We're going to need more of those. That's just what I made for right now, just for demonstration purposes. So I guess the thing we got to go and get going on here is, so we have this nitric acid, and if we refer back to our quest book, we can kind of see where we got to go from there. So we got the nitric acid, and we use the gold alloy ingot with the nitric acid to get ourselves the gold leach. So that's going to be a chemical reactor with the gold leach, or chemical reactor with the gold alloy. So let's get that going. Chemical reactor. The placement of all these, I'm not sure, because we're going to need to have a lot of space in the background here. So we'll just put this here for right now. Chemical reactor and the nitric acid. I did get a tip from someone in the last episode that said I cannot use the fluid conduits on the output sides of these machines. So before we get going on this, we're definitely going to need ourselves our Yeta wrench, which we have, and a regular wrench, so we can move the output sides of these machines, hopefully in a way where we can actually function properly, because that was something that I'm not used to. So let's get going on that. We don't need the time in a bottle on our hot bar right now. Let's put our wrenches in there. Clipboard, I have some stuff that I want to get accomplished for today, starting off with this gold chain. So there we go. So let's get, we need to get this nitric acid moved. Maybe it would be better to just have this connected, because then it could auto output. Let's try that. Let's see. So we want to auto output the fluids. There we go. So now we have our nitric acid in here, and this is going to be where the gold alloy ingots are going to go. That's going to create the gold leach. Okay. Then we got the gold leach, and we're going to need chloroauric acid next. So we need chloroauric acid, but I guess we got to start with hydrochloric acid. So we're going to need hydrogen. So maybe I should set up that electrolyzer as well. I don't think we need this anywhere super close, but we're going to want to have it kind of close, because we're going to need to get the water from this going in here. So let's just put that here for now. This is all just temporary, like I said, until we figure out exactly the spacing of all this stuff and the best way to do so. So we want to get, this is powered, so we just need to get water into this bad boy. So let's get water going from here. Let's disconnect these. All right. So that should be water in there, and since it's its only input, I probably will end up having to filter this, but for right now, let's just get this moving some fluids. Maybe I should put this on a different... Let's try this. Let's put this on a different... Let's put this on the blue channel. And put this on the blue channel as well, just so I know the water will not be able to go anywhere else. Okay, so that's the output side. So this is what I'm talking about. So output side, we'll put it this way, and now it should be getting water. What am I missing? Let's take off the extract. Blue. Is this getting water now? Okay, so now this is getting water, and it's going to start electrolyzing ourselves some hydrogen and some more oxygen. So we might want to connect this back up to this line just to feed some more oxygen back into the setup, because the oxygen for this chemical reactor is going to be super important as well. So yeah, I might end up moving this electrolyzer, because it was originally just being used to create more oxygen with the glass dust. So I may end up moving that. In fact, let's just do that real quick. It's not super important right now. We can always put this back in this spot if we need to later. Okay. Oh, got a quest for silicon. I never picked it up out of that chest. Okay, so water's coming out of there. Chemical reactor's gonna take the gold leach and probably output it. Output it into another chemical reactor here. Let's see. Let's get rid of this. So this is okay. I may have to have some cables. I don't think you can have cables coming out the front face, so I may end up having this electrolyzer moved over a few blocks just so I can have this chain going. This is the electrolyzer. Oh, did I make two electrolyzers? Oh, I did accidentally make two. Or I have the one I just destroyed. Let's put the chemical reactor in. Okay, so now let's see here. This should auto fluid output to the left. Oh, wrong wrench. Okay, so this should take the gold leach and put the... I don't know what loops from that. Let's see. Gold leach. Never shows up for me for some reason. Brushed gold. Where's this leach at? Am I spelling it wrong? L-E-A-C-H. Okay. So this is going to have the nitrogen dioxide. So I could have this nitrogen dioxide re-looped back into here, which is, in fact, what we are going to do. Do I have a filter set here for the nitrogen dioxide? Let's check. No, but I probably should have the nitrogen dioxide filtered in here as well. So let's get that. Actually, let's Let's see here. Go back. Oh, you can't do it from that window. Water, oxygen, and nitrogen dioxide. Okay, put that in here. Okay, so then this I can have looped back in now. Let's see. Let's connect this to here and to here. So this will be outputting. It shouldn't go into here. It should only go into the places that it can go. Nitrogen dioxide. Extract the nitrogen dioxide. Let's go grab some gold alloy ingots and see what we have. Might be easier to do here. Let's just grab 16 for now. Yes, we have a good amount of this. I can always make more. It's not too hard to make, thankfully. But let's throw this in here. Into this, the nitric acid. This should be making ourselves the gold leach. And if everything goes well, so gold leach goes in here. Ooh, the nitrogen dioxide goes into here. So maybe I should have that not set. I don't know if it still wants to go in there. Okay, so now it's not going into there, but is it going back in? Where's this nitric acid? Huh, okay. Well, I think it should have looped. Let's get rid of this. Try it one more time. We do create the right thing. I just need the fluids and the items to go in the proper directions, okay? So let's disable this. We want the item output enabled, fluid auto output disabled, so it will pull from the back of this and then go into this filter, and then it should cycle. So we should see, this is not creating any nitric acid right now, so we should only see that number go up if the nitric acid is re-looping back into the setup. So let's grab a little bit more. Let's just take this. Okay, so this is creating more nitric acid. Nitric acid's already going in here. Okay, so it should loop back into this. Or the dioxide, nitrogen dioxide rather. Okay, so let's put 16 more in. We should see this number here go up. There we go, cool. And it's not going in here, awesome. So now that we have the gold leach, this is going to be the chloroauric acid, I believe. So let's double check that. Into a chemical reactor. No, this is going to be the hydrochloric acid, and that's going to get us our chloroauric acid. Okay, so we need HCl. This is making more hydrogen and more oxygen. Probably going to want to have this set to extract as well, because then that way it will also loop the oxygen in. I don't want the hydrogen in. It should be set to a whitelist, so it shouldn't go. Yeah, it shouldn't. It should just pull out. Okay, so it did pull out the hydrogen, but where did it go? Ah, okay, so we need to have a filter set here to only accept nitric acid, which shouldn't be too big of a deal. So let's open up this filter. That's going to void a lot of our nitric acid, but that is fine right now. Can I not? Okay. Fluid filter. Let's put that in there. We wanted an insert filter or an extract filter? We only want an insert filter. So we want it on here. We want the... only want to whitelist the nitric acid. Yep. Okay. Nitric acid. Put that in there. And then now, unfortunately, we're going to have to void this nitric acid. Not, like I said, not too worried about it. Chemical reactor back in. And this should then just fill with the nitric acid. And this should no longer be putting this hydrogen in anywhere. Ah, it's going into here too. Okay, so we need to have another filter set to the insert here with nitrogen, oxygen, and what were we making here? Oxygen, nitrogen, what was the third input here? A chem reactor. think we only had it set to nitrogen and oxygen. So, okay. Nitrogen. Oxygen. Hang with me here. I know this is something. Oxygen. Then theoretically, this should just be making ourselves the nitrogen dioxide. So it should just be nitrogen and oxygen in this setup for the insert. Making ourselves nitrogen dioxide, outputting into nitrogen dioxide with more oxygen and more water to make the nitric acid. Okay, why is this not getting any nitrogen? So this is set to an extract filter. Oxygen and nitrogen. You should only have that as an... Huh, okay. Let me think here. Let's get these cables out the way. Okay, so this is creating nitrogen and oxygen. Should push that into this automatically. I may not even need this. Maybe I just auto fluid output to the side here. Okay, so maybe that was a problem. And it should be making more oxygen currently. We'll go into here. Yeah, we want that to be oxygen input as well because we're going to be making more oxygen. I think it just needs more oxygen than what we have right now. Insert filter should have oxygen in it as well. This electrolyzer is just slow. So this is where we need. So that's electrolyzing and this is centrifuging to both. Both should be getting oxygen. It's just kind of slow. But thankfully, we don't need too much nitric acid going. We have a good amount here. This is for the gold leach. Maybe I should get signs or something to say this so I know exactly what we need. More of the gold leach is being in here. This is where we need the hydrochloric acid. So we need the hydrogen and chlorine in another chemical reactor. We don't want the fluid auto output because that'll take the oxygen and that. So we need to have a pipe here with another insert filter. We're going to need to make some more filters. There's probably some redundancy in here. That's not super necessary, but that's just the way we're going to have to do it for now. As I get more familiar with this. Let's make ourselves some more fluid filters. I may not have the sugarcane necessary. I don't want to destroy that bad boy. It keeps getting taller. I don't want to get rid of them. I want to keep them there. So we need to get some sugarcane. Let's see. If I teleport to my sand, I have a sand mining area. Should be some there. At least relatively close by. Not getting super lucky as of yet. Is there no sugarcane to be had? I probably need to make a sugarcane setup for more paper and for... Eventually we'll have to make it for ethanol, which I think is part of the quest line in the MV quest book. So we'll end up having to do that eventually. But right now, I just need to get a good amount. There's some over there. Cool. While we're running here, we can kind of look at this clipboard here. So the things I want to get done today, or at least hopefully get done, is the gold chain, which we are currently working on, and that should help us get to our MV circuits. It's not really necessary, but I don't know. I wanted to get this done first. So MV circuit will be the next thing. So we'll have to get some gallium and make ourselves some diodes. LV circuit assembler, we need the 2 MV circuits to make that. And then we can start working towards some mica insulator or mica insulator to get ourselves working towards our blast furnace, which is going to be vitally, vitally important. Many say that the EBF is the most important multi-block structure in the entire pack and in most Gregtech packs. So we're gonna need to figure out a way to get that going as smoothly as possible so that we can scale everything up and make ourselves our first aluminum. So we're getting very close to getting into the MV age here. It's going to take a lot of crafting, a lot of stuff off camera most likely for us to get it done in a relatively decent time frame, but that's the fun of this pack after all. So let's just keep running around this edge here to get ourselves a little bit more sugarcane. I want to get enough where I can make some filters and have some more growing elsewhere. So I'm not sure exactly how much we're going to get, but hopefully 20, 25, 30. We're going to have to start getting luckier than this. Looks like this coast here has a lot. So we'll run up this coast and then we will teleport back. A little bit different than Nomi Factory when you have to make sugarcane farm pretty much immediately to start getting your first power. So a little bit different than what I'm used to, having to run around and collect this stuff. So I'm going to make sure not to get rid of it all. I could have gotten rid of that one in front of our base and probably gotten over a stack. That thing is miles tall. I don't know if it'll just continue growing or not, but either way, it's pretty funny. It's good to know we can come back here and get ourselves some oil as well. That's also going to be important for MV, but let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Let's run up this coast here a little bit more. Looks like there's an AE2 asteroid here. 24, okay. Haven't hit this one yet. Doesn't look like. All right, well, that should be fine for right now. Let's head home. Before we do anything, let's get 15. Should be enough for now. And then we will plant 9 other sugarcane. Not really any good spots to plant it on this side, is there? Maybe that'll be part of our base expansion. We can get ourselves more farm space. Haven't figured out what I want to do at the bottom of this either. Could do another floor. We'll see. But let's just put these over on this sand. All right. And we can turn this into paper, make ourselves some more filters. Hopefully. Okay, so we are going to need to make some buckets. And then a fluid filter. And 3 more of those. Okay. I don't know if this is going to be enough, but it's what we got for right now. So we're just going to have to hope to get by. All right, now let's get back on track here. This chemical reactor is going to be taking hydrogen and chlorine to make the hydrochloric acid. So we need an input filter for hydrogen. This is the hydrogen. Hydrogen and chlorine. Okay, and we're gonna have to manually move the chlorine at first, but it should be able to loop that out as well. So should be inserting. This should have hydrogen. No? Okay. Still have hydrogen in here. Why no hydrogen? Do I need to have an export filter for the hydrogen? It's inserting water, extracting. The oxygen is coming out fine. Let's see here. If I raise the priority? I'm not even exactly sure what that does. Okay. Yeah, the oxygen's coming out just fine. Oh, output side. Stupid. Let's change the output side. Now it should be getting it. There we go. Okay. Keep forgetting that. It's so different. Okay, so now we have the hydrogen. We can get ourselves our chlorine, which I have a tank set up. I think I should have some chlorine in one of these machines over here. Let's see. Here we go. We got a whole bucket of it. And some potassium ready to go for the potassium metabisulfate. All right, so now we just got to put the chlorine, or the chlorine in here, and we are making hydrochloric acid. Very cool. Hydrochloric acid can now go into the gold leach thing. So we want to put a, let's make sure the auto output is not on. Both are disabled. Okay, we can turn that way. And then theoretically, we can put that here. We're gonna need to put a filter on this. Filter on the input, and we just want hydrochloric acid into the input. Yeah, we don't need the hydrogen and stuff in there. Take this back. Okay, let's make sure everything's going. This is electrolyzing. This is getting hydrogen. And it used all the chlorine already, but that's okay. This should loop. And then the chemical reactor here, we need the gold leach. For hydrochloric acid. We do want it to extract into, we want to extract as well. Now it's getting hydrochloric acid, and that should create ourselves our first chloroauric acid. I'm not sure what to do with this leached copper. I'm not going to lie. I think it can output items up, so maybe I'll put a chest on top. So let's try that. We don't need the, I don't really need anything else for it. So let's see if it can output to the top face. And turn item. Okay, cool. So it does look like it does go up into this chest, and we are creating the chloroauric acid. What happens to the chloroauric acid? It might self-contain loop, which would be cool. Let's get some more chlorine. Things seem to be going decent so far. Who knows? It only takes a little bit for everything to come tumbling down. That leached copper went fast. Let's just try the whole chain here. So this is making the leached copper. Bleach copper should go into this one. It's not. What was that here? And item output. Now we're getting the leach, making the chloroauric acid. I don't know if the outputs are going anywhere. We running out of power? Uh-oh. Are we gonna have to upgrade our power setup for this? Most likely. Things seem to be going fine though. Yeah, I mean, it's just creating everything here. So this just isn't getting enough power. This is back making nitric acid. That's good. The only problem that I'm having, this isn't outputting. This isn't getting the nitric acid. Wait, no. Nitrogen dioxide. This is not getting the nitrogen dioxide. For whatever reason. That's because that's output faced. We just have an input filter on that. We need this to extract as well. There we go. So now the nitrogen dioxide is going back in there. This is still going to create nitrogen dioxide once it has enough oxygen. Slowly over time. Got a backlog of nitrogen, still needing more oxygen. This takes a long time. 75 seconds is a lot. We may end up putting that electrolyzer back in play here to to get more oxygen from the silicon dioxide dust because it consumes a lot. But I'm not seeing the hydrochloric acid. I guess in LV we don't get the chlorine as a byproduct, so this may not be even super useful even in the short term, but it's still fun to play around with. You can kind of see what Gregtech's all about and getting these machines functioning and working and playing nicely together. But now that we have, I guess, the chloroauric acid, we need the potassium metabisulfate. That's the next step. So we have that. So we need the potassium metabisulfate, which we get in the mixer with sulfur, potassium, and even more oxygen. So that is not very efficient with our oxygen. We're going to need to figure that out for sure. But we can put the mixer down at least and kind of see. So mixer will go here. The chloroauric acid will have to be output. Extract, there's no extract filter, but we'll have an input filter on this side. Where are our pipes? Okay, so we want that in. And we're gonna have this set to a insert filter with chloroauric acid. Which one is it? Chloroauric acid. So now that's should be inserting the chloroauric acid. Once I figure out where it's at. Why is this not going? The output side should be set to the top. So why is this not extracting? Interesting. Insert hydrochloric acid. I want to extract chloroauric. Do I need to get another filter just for that? That seems silly. because we have the insert here. What if I take this off? Does anything happen? What if I put this in the put this in the insert or the extract side? I'm not sure about this one. This one's a little bit perplexing. All right, I'm a little bit lost now because we should be able to get this chlor-oric. Do I need to have fluid auto output enabled? Let's put the fluid auto output enabled and then put the insert filter on. But it should automatically go in here. I don't know why it's not. It really does not want to move around this chloroauric acid. Okay, so that's where the chlorine's looped in the final step. Yeah, I mean, the main thing we're stuck on right now is getting this chloroauric acid moved. I'm not really sure why it doesn't want to. So it's extracting, always active, but it's not extracting the fluid outputs. Huh. Can I put it on the front face? I don't know. It just does not want this to go. Okay, well, I'm lost. I'm lost. If anyone has any idea on how I can fix this, that would be greatly appreciated because I'm not sure why that's not wanting to move that chloroauric acid out. What could it be? Because the chlorine or the hydrochloric acid have the input in. I do not know. Can I move it like this? Is it an MV recipe maybe? Let's check that out. Maybe that's what the problem is. No, it says it's LV. Oh. Hold on. Am I in the wrong machine? I am. Okay. This mixer is supposed to be for oxygen. Okay. Now I understand. This is the wrong machine. That is a mistake. I am sorry. That is bad. Yeah, we need the chloroauric in a chemical reactor. We need the chloroauric in a chemical reactor. That should be... Still not one to go, huh? Interesting. I thought that would have fixed it. It should automatically extract that. Should I put it on a different channel? Let's try that. Let's put it on the yellow channel. Oh, we need over here. Still not wanting to go. I really thought that was going to do it. Yeah, because this is the final step, right? Yeah, this is the final step. This isn't the... Huh. Yeah, because this will be where the potassium metabisulfate comes in, and this will be making ourselves the actual gold. Might have to take a quick break from this, and I figured this out off camera. But anyway, you guys can kind of see the idea that we have going on here to get all these machines going, and hopefully I can figure it out. Maybe I can get somebody to help me out that's a little bit more knowledgeable. But I think that's where we're going to stop with that project right now. So let's just go ahead and move on. All right, and after a more than I'd like to admit time of trying to figure this out, I just moved the chemical reactor with the chloroauric acid next to the one that's creating it, just so it auto inputs into it, and that did seem to work. So what we changed is we put this here, we added the mixer in, and this is what's going to be creating the potassium metabisulfate. And like I've been saying this entire episode, and it's something we're going to have to deal with, is the creation of oxygen. I just manually moved some oxygen in here. It should put oxygen in here eventually once we get it more saturated, but it is not getting enough into the system with the electrolyzer and the centrifuge. There's not enough oxygen being made for it to fill all these machines up, because it takes 5,000 millibuckets of oxygen to create ourselves one, or I guess it'd be a few metabisulfate. But for the metabisulfate, we're getting very close here. I know it's, just hang with me here. With the metabisulfate, we need potassium and sulfur. So I have the potassium from before, from the rock salt, and we need the sulfur. So what I did for that is I got some sphalerite going in this electrolyzer, and we got ourselves some zinc, some sulfur, and a little bit of tiny gallium dust. So that will be used even into the next part of what we want to do. So we just got to take this sulfur and potassium, and theoretically, if I did this correctly, we should be good to go. Sorry about those black bars. I was not in full screen, but we should be good to go now. Sorry about that. But now, once we put this in here, it should pull out the potassium metabisulfate, go back into this chemical reactor, and this will be creating us our gold dust, the chlorine, and the oxygen, I think is what the things are. And then I have an item filter set up here that's going to finally get ourselves the gold dust. So in theory, if I put the sulfur in here and the potassium in here with this integrated circuit, we should get ourselves our potassium metabisulfate. And that is not inputting in. Oh, or is it? It is. Okay, cool. So it is pulling that out. The gold dust is going into here. So there we go. We're getting our first gold dust. I'm not sure why this chlorine and water is not looping. Maybe I should put an extract on that. We're going to want to turn these off, and I can just change the outputs to over here. So we're going to change the output side for that. Then I should be able to connect this up with the fluid conduits and get the chlorine to loop back in to this chemical reactor here to the left. And then the water should I should just be able to pull the water out, put it back into the electrolyzer or whatever, or put it back into the endervor, whatever it needs to be. But not too bad. We're making ourselves our first gold dust. So that was quite the process. And I know this is not perfect. And if any of you have any ideas of how I can make this better or more efficient for the current stage of the game that we are in, please let me know. I'm not super concerned with this right now. I mean, it does give us a decent amount of gold dust. It's not like crazy. We just are lacking the oxygen to keep it up and running at all times. So that's kind of our bottleneck right now. But let's go ahead and move on. So let's go ahead and take that gallium dust, and we can start working our way towards our next goal, which is making ourselves the MV circuits. So we can click this off, and then we can get ourselves the MV circuits. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves this gallium and head back up to the crafting area, and let's check the quest book real quick. Okay, so up here is where that line is going to be. Ore processing. This is basically just saying ore byproducts, and then it gives us a little bit of ruby dust. And then for the sphalerite dust, I think I have some actually in the pulverizer to complete this quest. Let's see. And we do. There we go. So there's that quest completed as well. What else do we have? We get some gallium out of that. Small pile of gallium. We have tiny piles of gallium. Not super big deal. How do we make the small piles? Let's see. Small piles. It's just a regular dust. Okay. We have 4 dusts. It gave us from the quest, thankfully. It's not a great way to get gallium. Obviously, I think there's better ways to do it, but for right now, it's what we have. But we just need to craft this into tiny piles or small piles. Small piles of gallium dust. There we go. Let's put the gallium back somewhere useful. Put it in here with the dust. Put all this stuff in here. And here. Keep that on us. And then that should allow us to make ourselves some diodes, which we just need fine copper wire and some glass panes. So let's go ahead and do that. Fine copper wire. I think I have that going. Do we have enough glass? Let's use this. See if we can make our glass panes. There we go. Let's go grab ourselves the fine copper wire that I have in the wire mill down here. Good amount. We're going to keep crafting that up. And in theory, that should be the diode made. So let's go ahead and check the quest book. Boom. Save that recipe. And there we go. We can make 8 diodes. Not too bad. I don't know how many we're going to need here. But now we can work towards the primitive assembly. Okay. And it looks like we're going to need 2 of these to make ourselves the MV circuit. Is that right? Yes, we need 8 LV circuits, which we should have. Yep, we do. And let's make ourselves the primitive assemblies. Let's just make 2 of them. Just for right now. Okay, so there we go. We've got our first MV circuits made, our primitive assemblies. Very, very cool. Awesome. That's a super big accomplishment for us here. Not too bad. Awesome. Go ahead and clean our inventory out a little bit. Put the gallium back in there. Have our MV assembler, or primitive assembly. And that will kind of get us moving towards the circuit assembler machine. So let's go ahead and check this off here. LV circuit assembler. It's going to take a decent amount of things. Do I have the recipe saved? Basic circuit assembler. It's going to need us to create a robot arm first. So let's go ahead and do that. Hopefully we have everything we need. We just need to make a piston and a gear. We need our wire cutter. Oh no, we're going to have to make a wire cutter again. The worst crafting in the game. Steel wire cutter. Okay, not too bad. I'm glad I had the stuff for it. Make ourselves this. Make ourselves the piston. And in theory, there we go. We've got our robot arm. I think we're going to need to make 2 of those for the basic circuit assembler. Let's see. Yeah, it needs quite a bit of this stuff here. So let's save that recipe. Oh, can't save that recipe. I need to make the LV emitter. And I need to make the conveyor module. Let's see how this goes. LV emitter. I have that. Conveyor assembly. We need some rubber sheets. Once again, I think I have some down here in our compressor. I may need to set up the tree beacon back up with the... Oh no, we have 5. Please tell me I already have 1 in here. That's going to be annoying. Oh, we need 1 more. That is so annoying. Okay. Well, that's Gregtech for you. I did not get enough rubber made. Just put this back down here and get ourselves 1 more sheet for this. And we're probably going to need more than that. In fact, we're definitely going to need more than that. But for the time being, I'm not going to complain. Okay. Let's get ourselves our 6th rubber sheet. You burn through that rubber so quick. So quick. All right. And the conveyor module. Okay, so that should open up this quest now to make ourselves the basic circuit assembler, which we need 2 conveyor modules. So we're going to need more. We're going to need more of the rubber sheets. What do we need other than that, though? Let's get that stuff made. Well, that's making more rubber sheets. I don't know why it won't let us save that recipe for the circuit assembler. Do I already have it? Oh, I do. That would be the reason. LV machine hull. Very cool. And then, yeah, last thing we need here is our basic circuit, or our last conveyor module for these circuits. And this should allow us to make more of the LV circuits at a much cheaper recipe rate, hopefully, and it should be a lot easier. So got that to look forward to. I might do some playing around with that in between episodes just to kind of see what it is and what it all takes. So gonna need do some mining for sure. Definitely running low on some base materials. Kind of just done so much crafting in the past couple episodes that we are running a little bit low. But let's go ahead and get ourselves this conveyor module crafted. Thankfully, I crafted up a bunch of motors. And that should be our basic circuit assembling machine, which is one of the most difficult things to craft in each tier of power. So very nice. We have the circuit assembler. Let's just go ahead and connect this thing up and see what it looks like. Okay, cool. Just like I remember. So we have the circuit assembler now. Awesome. And let's see what that LV recipe is. You can't make these in the circuit assembler, apparently. There must be a recipe for it. Let's see. It must be a different circuit entirely. Yeah, so there must be another LV circuit that you can use in replacement of the primitive circuit in the circuit assembler. So that should be the second option for the LV circuits. So we'll have to do some digging into that. And yeah, so let's actually go ahead and complete these quests over here on the left side. It needs us to get the potassium metabisulfate in our inventory. And then last thing is this gold. Very cool. So that should be those quests completed. We got some more gold dust out of it. Put that back in there. All that to make half a stack of gold. Wouldn't you know it? How awesome is that? Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some adjustments there, but very cool. So we've got this part done. We went down this line, got all these done. So now we really are set up to go ahead and start making ourselves some of these mica-based sheets to get ourselves the electric blast furnace. And that is going to be a project. That's going to take a lot of materials that I don't know if we have enough of yet. We're going to need Invar for the EBF for sure, and then a lot of those sheets, which I'm not even sure. I've not even checked that out yet, but I think that's a good place to end it. I know it took a little bit longer to get that gold line done, and I was hoping that was going to be a quicker process, but we ran into some growing pains, and that is okay. So I'm not going to complain about the process we made today. I think it was very, very cool, and I'm excited because I really do feel like I'm getting better at this, getting better at all, learning how to do all this very, very meticulous crafting recipes. So I'm going to leave it there. If you guys did like the video and you watched it all the way to this point, please hit the like button. I really do appreciate it. And once again, if this is your first time watching me, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We've got a lot of technological journey on the horizon here, so super excited to continue playing there. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button. But that's all I've got for you guys today. It's been Eagle. Peace.